down from when you were a little kid to what we see, whether it's obviously you're a big part of the motor. The bikes, you come here, it's a really cool feeling that gets built coming into this atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a really great. Obviously, we've been racing a few weeks here, but I think it's important. Everybody's been working for months, right? The racers have been down south training, the mechanics have been working, and we want to just kind of start the season off with getting some media stuff out of the way and take care of all that as we head into round one. So this is a perfect way for us to do that.
You're kind of a leader in this. Other teams are trying to do this kind of stuff. You're always you like to put yourself out there. We're going to get to some of the other stuff that put yourself out there just recently with the posts and stuff like that, talking about salaries, but you like taking chances with this team. You took chances back when you went after Colt Fasciati, Dylan Wright. You know, me and Noob said you're supposed to fire him after 2 years. So look where we are now. Taking chances, doing things like this. Is this something that you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy the stress of it? Like, this is a big part of it. It's something kind of new in our side of sports here in Canada.
Yeah, with that, there's some extra stress, of course, but we want to be leaders in every way, on the track, off the track, everything that we're doing. We want to find ways to be innovative and take our sport to the next level, look what other sports are doing, and outside of sports. So that's important for us to not just follow the path that everybody else is doing. We want to be a little bit different from everyone else.
Before we get into the team aspect, let's talk about Gopher News. Obviously, we're talking about the Ryder program. You can come here and basically get a lesson in anything, whether it's trails or only riding. This is one heck of a facility and one of the best ones across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And Honda's a big part of that as well for us. We work closely with them and just introducing people to sport, getting them out on a dirt bike for the first time, and we want to offer everything in between that, all the way up to being a professional motocross racer.
Building champions on the Ryder program. Have we spotted anybody lately that we can bring on the team?
We're keeping our eyes open for sure.
Any contract, any posted maybe coming up here with a youngster?
We'll see. We'll see.
Let's get into what we saw just a few weeks back there. Another added norm thing for a team to post the rider salaries and talk about that stuff. And obviously, in every other stick and ball sport, that's no secret. Everybody knows what Austin Matthews makes or what LeBron James and all those kind of things. Our sport, it's always kind of quiet and different. But a lot from our industry saying we love this. People wanted to see it. Just talk to me about the reasoning behind that and what sort of the goal was to showcase that stuff.
Yeah, there's a few things for sure behind that, and I think just starting with pro sports, it's become pretty prevalent that pay transparency has become a big thing. So we wanted to take the lead with that in motocross, and I know that other motorsports are doing, but in two-wheel racing it is pretty uncommon. So definitely there was a lot of feedback from it. It was all great, but we just wanted to show what the riders are making, and it's a question that gets asked all the time. There's a lot of people that they're all over the place thinking they don't make any money, they make way more than they do, and we thought that was a good way to just show what the athletes are making. That they make a salary, they make bonuses, and that kind of thing. And I thought it was a good time to share it.
How come we haven't seen what you make?
Just to add to that, I thought another interesting part of it was, there's obviously a big variance in the three racers on what they make, and I think it's important for young up-and-coming racers and grassroots riders to see that as well. Obviously, people saw that Noah, for example, he races for bonuses only right now.
Greatest comment, by the way, on that post. Great.
Yeah, absolutely. But for him, knowing what his teammates are making, it gives him something to work towards, and there's a ton of people that would love to have his spot on the team as well and be able to race for bonuses only, try to prove themselves in the sport, and lots of up-and-coming riders would love to have that seat on the bike, and for Noah, it's a great chance for him to say, hey, this is my seat now, and I'm going to try to prove myself and work my way up the ranks of the team.
Let's talk about the team coming in 2025. Obviously got a great list. Dylan Wright, obviously, Ryder, McNabb, and Viney. How are things going? We just photo shoots the last few days. We're just a little over 2 weeks away. How are things looking?
The guys look great. I've only watched them ride.
Did anybody think he was going to say they weren't very good right now?
You know what?
The bikes are great. They're great. Everything's great.
They've been all down south training. Noah's coming back from shoulder surgery, so he's had a little less time on bikes than the other guys. But they've all kind of done their own thing in the winter. Noah's in California, Ryder's in Texas, Dylan's in Florida. So that was a lot of logistics to juggle for the team. So I got to commend the staff because we had boxes, shipments going in and out all the time, and I would prefer that the guys are on the same spot training, but I told them if they're putting in the work,
2 weeks out, what is the biggest task for you before we get into talk to some of the riders and the rest of the squad here? What's the biggest task for yourself 2 weeks before round one of the Triple Crown Series?
Oh, this is an easy one. It's getting that truck on the road. Get it back, get it on the road, and get it out west. It's a ton of work. All the techs on the team know this right now. Once this is over today, they're tearing down and we're doing our final backup on that. And truck will leave in about a week and a half from now. For us, I know every year when it's on the road and we get through Ontario, we're kind of get through the prairies, that type of thing. You're on a home stretch. I feel like I can relax a little bit at that point, knowing everything's on its way out there. And just get around and start racing. Everybody's put in all the hard work that they have. You just want to get to round one. Like right now, everything just seems tense. You're just waiting for that time to go. If the guys are ready to race tomorrow, that's when it starts.
Same week, Sunday. So they're there.
Well, as you know, a little test the end. Monday, Tuesday, which that time, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, that is the way it goes. Perfect. Well, no better time to bring it now. The 2 weeks away, the main run of the series, we get AJ to move over. Bringing Justin Thompson from the Triple Crown. Justin, where are you at? There he is in the back. Dressed for success right there. How much do you make, Justin? Where's that post? I'll sit down here, buddy. All right, JT, sort of similar, 2 weeks away from the kickoff of our Triple Crown Series. We've added the new stages to the series this year, which is going to be great for myself to announce in the TV booth. Just how are things looking from your angle? Obviously, it's crunch time, but it also was kind of tricky. You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I think we're good, and I got a great team. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not in the office as much as I used to be. I'm on the road and stuff like that. Trying to create more avenues for all of us here in Canada with tying things with the World Supercross to us and stuff like that. So the team, everything you see is the team. I'm not gonna take any credit for it. They put in the work for years and years, so we know where we're at. We know everything that we need to get done to get ready for round one. Obviously, our own groups, a great group. We meet quite regularly. So I mean, I'm confident in everything that we got. I mean, obviously, circumstances with the economy right now is a little tight. We're fortunate that we do have some resources in other countries that we can lean on and stuff like that to make this work. But I mean, I'm more pumped than anything. Like I was telling some guys earlier, is that the team seems stronger than they've been, right? So that's I think the biggest thing that we need as a country is we need the riders and teams to be strong. Obviously, we need the series to be strong, but if we can lean on things to make it work, then that's what we'll do for this time like this, and then come over to the other side. We've got a couple new partners. One, Mike Kelso from obviously Rockstar for many years. Worked with him. He has his own drink company, Drink Beer. They've now officially come on as one of our bigger partners. So things like that, last minute entries. We just did a deal with Costco and stuff like that. So it's there's light to the end of the tunnel, but it is a struggle.
Let's talk about the West. Always a little bit difficult on the western side of things. We come east here to a place like Gopher, it's just a little easier as far as the series goes. Cold Lake, we just saw that video they just dropped. Looks great from video. How excited are we to kind of add that in? And of course, Military Appreciation Weekend, something new for our series.
Yeah, I think it's always good to try stuff. I mean, since day one with Triple Crown, we've always tried things. And some work, some don't. We try to always make it better. I think this is a track, at least we know Cody well. Cody works for some World Supercross. We build the tracks for World Supercross only. All the way there, across and like that. So we know what we're getting from this part of the track. Obviously, it's a little bit north of Wright, so it's a little ways away. But with the amount of hospitality the town has had with us, the military, everything, I think it's going to be a unique event, but very well rounded.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those ones for sure. Billy or Palms or Jessica, anything for Justin?
That gets question.
Go ahead.
Between the two of you, like obviously having to build up and that's kind of convenient, how much communication goes on between the two of you throughout the off coming into the year, like input from both of you?
We all talk pretty regularly. Usually, to be honest, Derek and most of the teams and a lot of the OEMs talk to Kyle more than me. But I talk to the OEMs on a regular, which usually they're talking to the team. So it's around the circle. I'm very happy
and they host team calls for all of us every month or two. So I'd say they're a little more often in the off season. We spend time talking about what are the rule changes for the next year, what sponsorship changes are coming, and all that type of stuff. Obviously, but we have serious changes stages. So that's all stuff that the teams are finding out ahead of time for sure. And that gives us a chance to get a little bit of input before they launch that type of thing. So I think that's really great for Justin and his crew to allow us to do that.
Now, Justin, we've had some conversations about title sponsors and things like that in the past, and you've talked about a couple. I know there was something in the works too, and you just mentioned a couple that are coming on to help out. Is there a title sponsor, and is that a direction you want to go? Or how is that looking?
We've been at a title since Lockhart. To be honest, that after the fact was an easier thing for us. I mean, I'd rather have a few premier sponsors than a title because of the naming rights and stuff. It's crazy, right? That you get into the Fox Sports things and all the legalities and lose the rights to our television packages. I mean, there's just too much rights included in it. So, I mean, the number would have to be significant, right? And you're just not going to see it. I mean, I'd love to see it, but you're just not going to see it in the current state. So, going at it at an approach that we have 3 or 4 at more of a career level, like we've been doing, is probably the way we can do it.
Thanks.
Obviously, we're lucky we got some world-class riders, world-class series. When you travel abroad and stuff for World Supercross, is there a lot of excitement in our series and stuff like that?
Actually, that's one of the reasons we did go through the idea of a name change and everything in the offseason. Like, you know, Triple Crown is no longer from what it was, how are we going to make this work, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, we got the World Supercross and our Unicross, and we realized, like, everywhere we go, like, people rave about the Triple Crown. Oh, look what they actually did, you see this. And so, I mean, we were like, man, they know us globally now. We had a huge conversation about what track is the best in Australia. And some Aussie guys, like, oh, that Gopher, this is too sandy, this one's that, this one's, you know, and it's like, for them to know all that, I'm like, man, we can't change our direction, we've got to keep going. So that's when we came up with the stages, right, to keep things in line, have a Triple Crown champion, giving it back to the teams, more than just the individual rider, right? There's still rider championships, there's still all the attention on that, but it gives it like kind of a 2-part for the teams to race from. So, yeah, more broad. So it's kind of cool to hear.
I was hearing about the announcers. I've heard they're really good.
I have heard that too.
Anybody else who's on the
Hey, you mentioned that. Speaking of that, last year we had the new guys doing announcing and stuff. What does that look like for this year?
So, our announcer is Nolly, and yeah.
I'm back.
Are you at
It's
the?
entourage.
Is he at the track or are you in the booth?
It'll be mixed, it'll be mixed. It depends on what.
And Liam will Farrell. Me and Liam will be in the booth this year. And Kyle will be down on the floor. But yeah, we're going to do a mix of things, right? West Coast is from here, I think. And then on the east will be from trackside.
So, I mean, once again, we went with the area process here. Obviously, they did a great job in the booth following it. And to be honest, I was surprised on how much feedback. Years and years, you don't hear anything on the industry side. You don't see much on TV. And then this year, at the Motocross, we're like, man, thank God we had all the Kyle there in the booth for a Motocross. So then we realized, okay, we got to keep this momentum going.
Awesome. Anything else for Justin? Anybody out there? Perfect. Thanks, Justin, for your time. Appreciate it very much. Now, a gentleman that probably doesn't need much of an introduction out here. He's the man that built this place, the man that made Mr. Derek Schuster, his dad, Frank Schuster, everybody. Look at that smile. Just a happy-go-lucky man out there. All right, Frank. How much do you do? No, I was kidding. I mean, once again, let's just talk about this quickly again. This is amazing. What you've done and the nostalgia, it's really easy to show where your heart lies for good parts. It's pretty cool, the atmosphere here. I mean, you just get up every day and look at this and just kind of walk around and like, this is pretty badass.
Yeah, you know, this is obviously a hobby that's become maybe a little bit of a sickness, but it, you know, we're heading into our 40th year. And I guess that, just the way the shop is set up right now, one of the important things is that change. we don't realize it, but things that used to be really great years ago, I mean, those bikes, they were state of the art. And when you look at them now, they're no longer state of the art, and there's big changes. And I look at these bikes, and I mean, change is something that's just got to keep going. I mean, Derek, what he's doing, he's come up with some ideas. I mean, we're heading into our 40th year. Some of it I think is a little bit out there, but a lot of it seems to work. And like, you know, he's introduced a lot of things, and you know, like he's taking chances. And I you know, some of it's worked out really well. And make no mistake, we butt heads. We butt heads on a lot of things, and but it usually finds a way to have a happy medium working out. And like this race team, I mean, he's got an amazing team this year. A lot of things happen. I mean, great group of riders, mechanics, and you know, it's a team that he's put together, and I'm pretty proud of him.
I want to talk about the partnership with Honda. You created this business by yourself, did as a family there. Bringing on partners, you never know, but the thing that you guys have done with Honda, obviously the Red Ryder program, just talk to me about that relationship, because it just seems to keep soaring, moving forward, and it's such a great atmosphere here for brand new people, or even just existing people to come to the Gopher facility.
Well, one of the things about riding is that, and anybody rides, it's not about just racing and winning, it's about going out and having fun. Red Ryder program is strictly about going out, buying a motorcycle, getting on a motorcycle, and having a great time. And that's what 99% of us do. I mean, even the guys that are racing, if they didn't enjoy it, they wouldn't be racing. So, you know, to make sure that people come out, they have a good time, and motorcycle riding, I mean, it's a lifestyle to a lot of people. And Derek has improved on it by the camping and different things, and so it just adds to that fun environment. With Honda, I mean, they've got a great product where we can go like from the smallest bikes right up to like the CRF 250s to our race bikes. There's something out there for everybody. The ATVs, the side-by-sides, I mean, they've got something that looks out for everything. And now getting into the adventure bikes a little bit more, I mean, that's always exciting, and we're going to be pushing that a lot more because there's a big group of people out there getting into the adventure bike market. And I think it's something that's been on tap, and I think we're really going to push.
All right, this whole show we're going here. Let's start here. Favorite? Which one was your favorite right here?
109.
The 109.
So, if you go through this showroom, like everybody knows I was into cars, and I mean, there's a car on a hoist on the other side. If that car could talk, like the dog, everybody says, if that car could talk, it couldn't tell much of a story. But every single motorcycle here, like it would be like something movie wrote by Wes Craven. I mean, they're horror stories for a lot of them. I mean, and that 109, that bike, I mean, that one saw war. And that's why we kind of left it like that. And I mean, Dylan, you know, riding that bike, and you know, he put Canada on the map by riding that bike. And that bike, it's got some battle scars. If it could talk, it would tell the best story of any bike in this room.
That was a heck of a year there traveling over there. We had a chance to talk with Dylan as well. And the history behind this place, Frank, obviously now getting run by age, you get to sort of sit back a little bit, although you still do a hell of a lot of work, because I see it at all my events and stuff like that. Are you still enjoying all the families coming through the gate, the sort of nuances with social medias and all the craziness and the changes that you're talking about? You still enjoy really well?
Like any farm, this has become like a family operation, and I mean, it becomes a lifestyle. I mean, even with myself, my wife, I mean, everything that we do is revolving around this property. We love, you know, when the races are going on, I need a reason to get up every morning, and I guess that's it. It's, I like the people, I like the crowds. There's always something to chat about, and have a drink over at a tent every once in a while, or, you know, somebody's campsite. So it's a lot of fun at the same time. And I mean, getting into our 40th year too, I mean, from where this started to where it is now, I mean, there's been huge changes. When we, basically the history of this place in a nutshell was that we were an excavating company. We own an excavating company. We took over the farms, the tobacco industry, which this area is known for, was declining. So that was not only taking down farms, but it was also taking down the excavating business. So we needed something else to do. So we thought we had the land, I was never much of a farmer, I mean, and, nor do I ever want to be, but so I had to find an alternative. my alternative was to start a motocross track or go out, ride. And I will never forget the first time get a little bit of media exposure because we're going into our 40th year. And so in 1985, when we approached council, I remember the newspaper coming out doing an article, and they told, talk about a motocross track possibly coming into the area. And my mom belonged to a group of a ladies group, and I thought it was pretty cool reading the article. It was the first time I was in the newspaper where I hadn't done something bad, so yeah, it's good. And I asked my mom, I said, what did the ladies think, when they read that article? They said, well, I'll tell you, she says, they think you're crazy. And it was one of those things that they never understood. So a lot of times when you look at any type of a business, you understand what you're getting into. And a lot of time in this area was tobacco farming. It was never going to change, and that was going to be what it was. And it was, and my mom did become a success, so it was awesome.
Right there. Anything, Thomas, Billy, Jessica, Gopher, Thomas?
I had one, we just answered.
Oh, okay, there you go. Great answer. Billy, anything? No? No, you're good? Okay, yeah, answer. Frank, you got anything else you want to put out there, Norm?
No, it's, well, you know what, looking forward to a good year this year. Looking forward to seeing these guys. I've seen little, them going out riding. I've seen the mechanics at work, and we got a good crew this year. I can tell they're a pretty dedicated bunch. I've got some young guys on the team that are maybe a little bit behind the years. We'll see how that, I'm sure Dylan and a few of the vets are going to tune them in, so we're going to get them up to speed.
So, Billy's got something.
Yeah, let's get Frank, since you've been around for so long. Who's your favorite rider of all time? Tell us that, of everyone you've seen or know of.
He's within punching distance, so. You know what? The closest I've ever got to a rider is this guy right here, and it's because he's been with us for a lot of years. He's a very personable guy. He's become family. His family has become our family, and without a doubt, it's definitely Bill Wright.
Wow.
I just want to add to that as well. And, the mechanics, everybody's been working really hard here the last few days to set everything up. It's been a ton of work. I want to give Dylan a lot of credit because, as my dad mentioned, he's kind of helping the younger guys, showing them the way. And he puts in a ton of hard work. And not only on the track and training and that kind of thing, but we had a photo shoot the other night. He was in the shop here till 2 a.m. The next morning, he's up with the mechanics early. They're building the awning. He gets other guys out of bed, and they're all down here building the tent and putting in the work. So I give Dylan a lot of credit. He doesn't have to come down here and help him set up bikes and tents and all the other stuff going on here, but nobody asks him. He just gathers up with the riders, and they're all working at it. And I think it really, instills some good work habits in the other guys, and it's really great that he's such a leader on the team.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Frank, if you got anything else?
The last thing I guess is favorite rider. Like right now, our team they become your family. So everybody, like news, like the whole group. I've known them for years, and I remember I could tell every guy in this team. I could tell some pretty good stories about, especially news. But we become a family, and I mean, when you have a family like that, you have your ups and downs. But we have a very strong team, and I'm sure these guys are going to perform well. And that's why this team's always been a strong team.
Awesome. Well, there it is, Frank Schuster, everybody. There, right there. Come on up here. Let's talk to the red riders here. Gonna put you on the spot. Don't. Awesome as always, Larry, to have you here. You come to every one of these, I believe. You were all for it. Yeah, you've been all alone. Just obviously the partnership. We just heard obviously how great Dylan is for the program and what he does on the track and off the track and stuff like that. But to be a part of it on the red side of things, on the honest side of things, it's a heck of a partnership from the outside looking in. But what does it always look like for you guys? It seems getting better and better every year.
Well, like I said, we've been partners with GDR for a long time. Longer than I can remember. I don't want to say how long I've been already, so it's been 2 years. Obviously, like you said, we need good people, someone that instills good quality, good values in the community. So as you can see with championship bikes here, a lot of winning. So it's, I don't think we can pick it apart.
I tell you, it's cool when I meet people at the OEMs. Your sons love riding as well. Like it's not just something you do as a job. You're a part of it. You enjoy the sport as well.
Yeah, definitely. I have two sons, 19 and 14. Thanks to the GDR program, it's cost me about 8 bikes. So it's been great. They come here
You
riding.
probably know a guy getting some parts though, I guess. Right?
I know a few guys.
Yeah.
It's been good. Obviously, we ride as a family, so it's a great sport. So.
I want to talk negotiations between you guys. You guys have to come and make these contracts up. Each and every year, our shares coming in. I need more. I need more. But I mean, obviously, it always works out. But what is that like when you guys have to come into these times of like, you know, hiring different riders and get mechanics and looking at all the structure stuff that goes into the team?
Sometimes you win, sometimes I win. It goes back and forth for sure. But you know, this year we challenged the people. Obviously, last year was a tough year with some injuries. But we challenged Derek and the team. And the team this year is last time it was this strong. It's the last time Ryder and Dylan Group 1, and now it's a little more seasoned. And
We're back.
we've got no one to join, so we got a crazy strong team. Bikes are great, the team's great. So
We're going to see you at some events this year?
absolutely.
Awesome. Any comments? Billy, go ahead, Jessica.
I'll ask, so like obviously Honda is a big part of it. What do you find that the innovation that GDR is creating and stuff is a huge asset to Honda? Like how does Honda?
Obviously, social media is huge right now, and I think even though they might have some challenges with injuries around the track last year, their social media presence and the way they give back to the community and engaging the riding community is off the charts. So, kudos to the team. I think it's only going to grow from there. So, absolutely, it drives a lot of our off-road for Honda. Obviously, is super strong. So, it's a really key part of our
No comments? Good. All right, Larry, thanks for your time. I appreciate it very much. Is it assistant manager? Is he the manager? Like, why don't you give me the proper label here?
He's our GM here.
GM, General Motor. Come on up here, Noof. Everybody give Noof a high five on the right side. Right? There we go. Actually started this off double shoulder injuries. No one coming off one, you just getting into one, eh?
Yeah, I'm good for the handshakes here this year, so if I kind of go a little bit like that, it's a little sore. But all good, we're here.
This is year 7 for you?
I started in 2018 with the career.
Okay, so a long time running. Obviously, it's a different atmosphere, right? We see a lot of phone calls back and forth, whether it's you and Dave or you and the riders. Just talking to me now, this role keeps getting extended for you, so I guess that means you're doing a good job. That's just what that means. Just talking about the role that you're taking on and dealing with Derek and the riders during the winter, stuff like that. Let people know exactly what it is that you entail here.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, my relationship with Derek goes back well over 25 years. I started coming to the dunes as a rider, staying in Frank's house, which I stayed there last night. Brought that memories.
Hitting on his daughter.
Most likely, yeah. So, but no, just being part of the crew. And my role started out in 2018, where I just kind of would come and help out. I help the guys with, washing bikes and washing helmets and stuff like that. There was a few rounds here and there, and it led into working with Ryder McNabb as a mechanic, even though I wasn't necessarily mechanically skilled, but it was more of a mentor type role, in which just kept going on. And obviously Derek's very busy here with the dunes and with everything he has going on behind the scenes. And I just been going to the races, and honestly, it's his passion for me. And last year, I was sitting up here, we won so much as a team, and last year things got beat down so bad. It was tough, and obviously for Dylan, obviously for T-Dags, second round. I'm like, why not? I do this, right? I have a great full-time job, my family back home, but it's the racing aspect. Well, this as well. As I do, we love racing, we love the passion, and I love watching these guys from the mechanics to the team, to Derek, to the riders, everybody working their butts off to go win. That's what it is. I never got to win like these guys are when I was a racer, but now I feel like I'm part of it, and I can give a little bit of, have my foot in the door with
Talking partnerships, we were talking obviously the great partnership that GDR has with Honda. And, you know, in our days, it was a little different atmosphere as far as teams and the structure. Now it's obviously a little bit cleaner, a little more corporate, all that kind of stuff. How do you find dealing with that stuff? Not that you have a lot of conversations, but you're representing such a big brand, and it's such a key role to the whole success of the team.
Absolutely, and I mean, it starts off from the bottom. You know, Derek puts the rules in place and everything like that. We have a lot of meetings, a lot of phone calls, and
About 47 different group chats.
a lot of group chats, yeah, for sure. But it has changed from our time. There's no question. You know, it was a lot looser back then. You know, this is very corporate, and we have a lot of eyes on us. So we have to be professional at all times, in which I think our crew does that. And it comes back to the beginning of the season. Derek and I talked the most, probably, you know, September through November, of who are we getting for McNabb, who are we getting for Riders, everything like that. And it's literally about just assembling the best group of guys. And every single year, we try our best to put that in place to make our job easier of dealing with things at the races.
All right, 2025, just around the corner. You got the chance to see, did you get a chance to see you guys already?
A
little bit. I mean, what are your thoughts? Anything, 2 weeks to go?
Great, of course.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've been around a long time, obviously, with doing a lot of that's pretty self-explanatory. But now Ryder coming back to Canada and Noah getting on the team as well. It's a different atmosphere. You're dealing with different riders again. Ryder, you got a great relationship. You know what's kind of new with the relationship. From right now until 2 weeks away, what sort of things do you do with to get everything ready to go? So, boom, gate drop. Well, first gate drop, and the team's ready to rock.
For sure. I mean, I think just like Derek and I had talked about there, I know everybody's off seasons were great. I mean, we kind of gave them, the initial plan coming in was to have them kind of all together, which didn't necessarily work out, but we talked about it, we thought it was the best. You know what? We know these guys are going to work hard. Let's let them do their own thing, and we expect them to be 110% coming in. Of course, with Noah's shoulder, you know, he started off awesome. I was so excited to see him, you know, make that first Supercross main event. And then he got hurt, so he's coming in a little bit behind the 8 ball, but he has experience out there. We worked with him a couple years ago, not even remotely close to the level that he's going to be at this year, with being here at the games and being part of the team full time, because he was a late addition after the.
Is he been here all summer?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Put through the paces. You just you're making steak, flag, do the trails.
Throwing desires, but you know, of course, he's a champion and a true professional. We don't. There's not one worry that he's not going to be 100% ready to go. 100% effort all the time, and bikes are good. Ryder, you know, we haven't seen him in a couple of years, but obviously, you know, chasing it down in the U.S. and you know, he's grown as a man. Went back when we were working with him, he was a young child at the beginning. So mentally, he's probably still the same, but physically, you're a much bigger man. And like I said, back to Noah, you know, his family's up here, they're 100% dedicated to it, and that's what I talk about as a team, from the parents to the riders. We all get along as a group, and for me, if it's no fun on the weekends, like, I don't want to be there. And that's what's the best about it. Even when the going gets tough, like last year, we try to make the best of it, and I think that's what makes a championship team.
Jess, Thomas, go ahead.
Excuse me. You mentioned last year and bad luck you guys had. As a GM, was there what sort of things were learned, if any, from that could kind of be applied moving forward? You guys had a really good run leading up to last year, and then what did you learn as GM that is going to help?
I think that's a great question, because honestly, even though we think it in the back of our heads, I mean, Dylan was on such a run of winning. You get very complacent as humans that, you know, it's just going to keep going. And even though in the back of the head you know that it's not necessarily going that way, but last year was very, very a reality check, I think, for everybody on the team, that literally in the blink of an eye, it can be over just like that. You know, we're scratching our heads like, oh, he's coming back. No, like he's somewhat not human, but we learned last year that Dylan is human, and that, you know, we needed to take a break and take a time out of it, and not going to the races after winning, or going to the races and not winning like we were the last couple of years. It was definitely hard on the ego, right? I mean, it doesn't matter when you're at that level, you do get a bit of an ego, and you know, you feel like your guy. So obviously being very humble coming in, you know, it's not just about one race at a time, it's about the whole, you know, 16 motos and stuff. And now with these new stages, Derek and I are very excited about it, because we now have championships within championships, so it kind kind of will, you know, have a little bit more focus on other things. But as far as last year, these guys are human, and we all make mistakes.
Can you, why don't you tell us what did you do to your shoulder, and what does this mean? What are your racing plans for this summer?
Tell the real story here, the pressure.
Yeah, I couldn't handle the pressure from Golly, but no, I just made a stupid mistake and dislocated my shoulder. It's a bummer because I actually been riding a Honda all year, loved it, so I have big plans for chasing vet championships again this year, and Derek obviously helped me out with the bike, and I'll be over for a while, maybe back for a while, but
Too much power, right?
I couldn't handle
Too
it.
much power.
Just talk about a little bit in your role, obviously communication with Ryder is very important. What do you, from your experience, during a tough race, or a good race, and not to go too high, not get too low? How do you implement your experience with that?
Yeah, for sure. Lots of experience over the years of working with different trainers. You know, I spent a lot of time with Pomeroy. He taught me a ton of things on the mental side of it. You know, as far as going back to my racing career, I could always ride a motorcycle. I just didn't have any sort of program outside of that. And after I kind of retired, if you want to call that, from racing, I learned so much more about the sport. I was like, I actually understood how to ride the motorcycle, understand how to look at the track. It wasn't just about going fast. So what I love on race day is going and watching these guys, and then coming back and, you know, talking about the track. What can we do better? How can we be better? You know, starts, everything like that. I just love communicating with them and seeing them try it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? I mean, tracks are changing. These guys know best when they're on the track. But just sharing the things that I learned over the years, and just on the mental side of it, and being strong, and you know, keeping everything in check, and moving from round to round.
Last time you guys got in an argument over team stuff?
Yesterday.
There it is. Not even 24 hours. You doesn't even remember it.
We don't really argue that much. I'm kind of similar to Frank though. We do butt heads sometimes, and then I just kind of let it go because I'm not a confrontation guy. But at the end of the day, Derek does know best. I mean, this is his program, and all of us as employees of it, we have to respect what he says. And I mean, the bikes over there explain themselves, and obviously he's done something right over the years. Even though in the moment sometimes we're like, oh, we got to do it this way, but we still do follow his role, and he is the team leader at the end of the day. And he makes the shots, and we're excited to be part of it.
All right. Thank you for your time. Ryan Walker. All right. Ryder, come on up here, boys. Bring the kids under the squad here. The kids on the GDR Honda team. Derek, this is an awesome lineup. Let's put as Ryder's walking up here. How did we get him back? How did we win the love of the man that got two championships?
That goes back to last fall here. We were trying to figure out what the plan was for it. Just getting back to having a shot at winning a championship in both classes. We tried to do that last couple seasons since Ryder last, and it didn't work out. Obviously, a big part of it was injuries. Last year before, and what better way to get back to winning ways and go back to the guy that we won.
Yeah, Ryder, we'll start with you. Welcome back. Awesome to have you this year. When I heard the announcement, it just kind of gave a little shot of energy to the series again. Just talking about sort of what he was going into. Obviously, you took the chance, you were down, you did the American thing there, and it was awesome for us. Sometimes to cheer you on, watching on TV and stuff like that, but it's also better to have us back here and just talking about making that change now and coming back to home turf.
Yeah, for sure. No, obviously I did a couple rounds last year, and ended up getting sick and had some stuff go wrong. But just coming into this new year, my dad was talking to Derek a little bit, and just kind of decided it was the best thing for this year to come back and regroup, see what we can do here, and maybe hit a couple races at the end of the year and see what we can do.
Is this a 2-year deal, Derek? Is that what we talking about something? I haven't seen any a poster on the back. I was curious.
Yeah, it's a multi-year deal. It's lots of options, and then honestly, just to add that a little bit on what you asked me before, and this goes to Larry and Eric, who are here also. I have my meetings at Honda as well, and we're all discussing and brainstorming how do we get back to winning the 250 class as well. And I've been to a meeting at Honda. We did have a little bit of a direction we were looking at going. Ryder wasn't on the table as an option yet, and I felt like at that meeting I probably didn't make a big splash as far as what the plan was on the 250 program side of things. So leaving that meeting I made the call to the family, and honestly, we put the deal together extremely quick after that. So it was good. I went back for another meeting a couple weeks later, and we had a new plan.
I need more money. Awesome. That's awesome. Pass the mic over to Noah here, Ryder, please. Noah, awesome. This is another great thing. When I heard this happen, you're going to come and do the whole series. You sort of sprinkle it in a little bit here and there. Are you excited about this? Kind of, a lot of Americans, I know you're born in Canada, you spend most of the time in America now, but a lot of them come up here, they just love our series. It's super relaxed and easy going. Are you excited about this sort of chill summer ahead?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I don't think it's really that chill. I've driven the same as the States. I want to come here and I want to be good. I want to win. I want to prove myself to everyone, prove myself and stuff like that.
How's the shoulder? How are we feeling 2 weeks away? Obviously, I know you guys did a race here on the weekend. How's everything feeling?
Yeah, shoulder's pretty good. Wouldn't say it's 100% yet, but it's definitely pretty good.
Are you looking forward to any particular track on the circuit? I mean, obviously you've seen what we got out here, but are you looking forward to anything as far as the series goes?
St. Louis.
That's home turf, yeah. I'd like to see that. All right, pass that microphone back. Oh, go ahead.
Noah there. Obviously, he didn't have the same type of prep this offseason that the other two guys had, rehabbing his shoulder and getting a torn labrum fixed. But, you know, his parents were sending videos of his recovery, rehab, that type of thing. And realistically, with that type of injury, most people wouldn't be back to doing any sort of training yet, let alone running a motorcycle. So I commend Noah and the effort and dedication he put into doing that recovery to get himself, at least giving him a shot to get back to racing at the start of the season. I mentioned the shoulder's not 100% yet, but from what I saw, he's off to a great start, and just being able to get going and start the series, even not being 100%, at least gives him a shot to kind of build throughout the season, and I think he's putting his time work in a different way from the other two guys.
What's the first job you're going to get him to do off the bike here at Gopher News?
Well, we've been putting him in learning to build the awning out there, put flooring together.
No. I'm talking about in the woods or the track or something.
Probably learning how to walk the tracks.
Yeah, no, we drive that truck. We've all figured that out. Palms, Billy? Go ahead, first.
For Ryder, you mentioned your health issues from last year. Is that all 100% behind you? And how was your off-season prep for coming in this year?
Yeah, no, I'm good now. I got cleared in October, November last year. Said everything was good to go, so I've been feeling good. Obviously, I was down in Texas, and yeah, I've been feeling good ever since I got back on the bike. Just trying to get back comfortable again, trying to get back to where I was, feeling good on the bike, and yeah, just trying to get comfy again.
I'll ask Noah, since you guys are being so transparent and everything, I want to know how, when we're watching you race, what position you have to get up. We talked about a bonus structure. What what does that entail? Can you tell us a little bit?
I actually don't know what position I'm here.
Well, you better find out.
Still negotiating. Still
100%
negotiating.
it's podium.
Oh, wait, what? And can I ask? And then Ryder, what was it like? You trained down in Texas. What was it like at Master Pools? Can you take us through kind of what you did there? It was different. What did you do?
Yeah, no, I've trained in Master Pools a couple years ago when I was on an 85. And I've always kind of loved it. They change the track every day. Pretty much a new track, completely different every day. So I like that, and I got to ride with Ty a bunch. So we're doing motos together. Obviously, we know he's fast and can win motos in the States. So it was good training with him. And yeah, it's just a good place to be. It's hot. And it's nice.
Yeah. For Noah, obviously you went to the States when you were super young. Was it always the plan to kind of come back once you were ready to race pro, or was it just kind of became pro?
Yeah, I always kind of want to come back, and I wanted to race at the home track at St. Louis, and yeah, it was kind of like come back here eventually.
And one more for Ryder. Are we going to see any, like we were hearing about your program and all the off-season stuff and everything, are we going to see any preseason gate drops, or the first gate drop of the year will be Calgary?
Not really too sure that's up to Biggie, but we did GDR last weekend just to kind of get a little gate drop at least. I think we've got some testing and stuff coming up on this next weekend, so we probably
Sandy? Sorry. Well, I don't know who's on.
But honestly, probably not. Depends on how busy we are and stuff, but maybe, possibly, we'll see.
It's not another question.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is. I love to get them all to do another gate drop for the race, local race, but scheduled for 3 days next week. There's really only one other local race we have an opportunity to do. The season starts in 2 weeks, and like I said, if we could be racing tomorrow, I'd be happy with that. The guys are ready to go, so I think we're set, and I'm not too concerned about doing any other local racing beforehand.
For both of you guys, actually, I know I talked to Derek, away from this thing, but he said he would never kind of hold anyone back, obviously, for dreams to race at the big Supercross, AMA Nationals. But for both of you guys, is the goal eventually to get back to Supercross, to get down south of the border?
Yeah, for sure. For me, I just look at it as a bigger stage, and I want to try it. I want to get down and put a couple good years in and try and do the best I can, right? And put Canada on the map somewhere, right? And nobody's ever really done Supercross and done. I want to try and go top 10 some Supercrosses and do better and get better at it, right?
Just that, you'll likely see him doing some Supercrosses on this afternoon, 2026.
Nice. You too, Noah?
Yeah, I would say Supercross is great. The WSX stuff is awesome. Traveling the world, that's sort of stuff. You see so much cool stuff, like Abu Dhabi, going to Australia, all that sort of stuff is super fun. And doing good in the States would be a dream come true.
All right, anybody else? Go ahead, Thompson.
I'll ask one more for both guys, actually. Obviously, expectations are a little bit different for both of you coming into round one, but as the sun sets on the first round in Calgary, what results would make both of you happy?
I mean, honestly, for both of us, I think it's what every racer is doing. You're putting in the work for one reason, and you want to go out and win. So I think that's what we want to do, right? It's what your goal is. It's why you put on so much work. So, yeah.
Yeah, same goes for me, but I want to ride with my best potential, and sometimes I don't do that because I'm getting ahead, but yeah, I just want to ride the best I can for first race.
Thank you.
All right, I got one last one for Ryder. You're a two-time champ. We've taken a year off now, but we did claim it back-to-back. Is it the same attitude coming into this year, or you're wondering where everything's going to fit in, or you're still on the top in the mental stage of things, knowing that you're two-time coming into this one? You're the guy that's really going to be chasing still, even though now it's number 6 on the way.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know. Coming in, I feel good. I feel probably the best I've felt since I've been. So, coming back this year, I'm really excited. I'm honestly so stoked to get racing and get going and see where everybody's at. But like I said, I've been feeling better than I have in a long time. So.
You just want us to stop talking to you right here, Bucks, right? One more for Billy. Sorry. One more for Billy.
Hey, we'll put Derek kind of on the spot here too. Say, Ryder, you go out and you win this championship. Does GDR Honda have 2 450 riders next year?
Yes, that would be the plan.
Oh, nice.
Quick, it's swift on that one. That's it, gentlemen. Thank you so much, guys. Take a seat. And all right, and we're done, right? Is there anybody else we need to talk to?
I don't think so, right?
No, I don't think there is. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming, everybody. It's good. I don't really. It's pretty easy to introduce this guy. One-time little bike, 4-time big bike. Give it up for Dylan Wright, everybody. You actually look like a ball player. Like you're signing a ball player right now for like a 30-year contract.
Dylan had some say in their outfits this year. This jacket was his idea, so we put it together, and I like when he wants to get involved in that stuff as well.
Is that where you're doing some T-Moon shopping or something? You found when he's coming?
No, I was actually traveling back from the Montreal Bike Show, and I seen a guy with like a sick Muhammad Ali retro jacket, and I was just like, obviously I'm talking to guys, I just hit him up in the line and security. I'm like, dude, where'd you get that jacket? I think it's sick. So we started kind of chit-chatting, and I kind of sent a photo of my snapped photo. I was going through the security line down here, but I sent it the day, and I was like, dude, this is sick. This would be a good look for the team, and obviously I kind of surprised me with it last week and sent me a picture of it, so it's pretty cool. I'm not a fashion guy, but I seen it and I was like, oh, that could work.
There you go. All right, Dylan, coming in here, obviously, you don't got the usual number 1 on the bike this year with that incident that Doof was talking about there. How's the mindset? You've had an amazing winter. We don't need to get into the full details of it. Something that you got to do with the Honda US guys and all that stuff. And we got to watch you just a couple weeks ago here at a race of mine. you don't look any different at all out there. It seems like the same Dylan Wright, and maybe even a notch better. I don't know if I can say that because I don't know how much better you can get than the perfect season you just did a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's always you come into the new season and you feel great. You put in, the months of hard work, and the team, the boys put in, a bunch of hard work behind the scenes, and yeah, you come in every season thinking, yeah, screw it, we'll just go win every moto again. And yeah, I feel good coming into the season. Bike's good. I think we're in a really good spot, and yeah, like you say, touch on last year. Obviously, we had a really good run. We were 5 years straight, a lot of winning, and yeah, just kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit, but. I mean, shit happens. We're pushing the limit on what these bikes can do and what we can do as athletes. And I mean, when we're going our speed, sometimes you make a little mistake. And yeah, I mean, it was on me. Hit a hole and went on the bars and woke up in the hospital. But I think you just don't lose the drive when you're laying there going like, holy hell, this was not good. You're still kind of pushing to see, what the next step is to get back on the bike and get back to winning. And that's what we do. You never shut that brain off to see what you can do better and eliminate the mistakes. That was big this offseason, working with Burner and working with Dazzy, is, how can I get better and go faster, but also be safer? And that was a big offseason. I think hopefully you see the fruit of that, coming in the summer. Obviously, race the dudes here, and obviously get on the bike, and we're still a month out and had a lot of testing left, so I'm pretty excited.
Talked about it, the partnership with Honda was a huge part of your program, and giving you the machine underneath you to become the champion that you are. I don't know if you saw that clip that I got for Derek out of our podcast we did a while ago when you were down on the line. I posted a video, I think, I tagged in it. You're down there, you literally just got off the track, you're high-fiving kids and stuff like that, and I continually, and I'll use this forever as you're one of the most honest, respected champions I think I've ever seen in the sport. I've seen a lot of them. Where do you get that from? Like a lot of times you get an ego or a chip or something. You don't seem to have that. You actually do want to give back, like they said about building a tent and stuff like that. And you're trying to push these kids. I brought a friend of mine, Tanner, here, and I said, just do what Dylan does. Like, just find out what he does and drink that Kool-Aid. But there's something that you have, I think, that's just different than others. And where did you find that? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I think, built into me from a young age. My parents, the way I was raised, on the farm. My dad always held us accountable, put in the work and check him out. And don't complain about it. And, I think, obviously, with him growing up and then, transitioning into my pro career, like anything you have a big ego, it's going to hold you back in the long run. All the guys here, from the staff at Gopher News to the team members to Derek and News and everybody, the guys at Honda, honestly, man, it's a big production house. If they're busting their balls, then, so should I. And I put all the hard work in off the bike, but, if I can lend a hand to the guys at Honda or the team staff or the Gopher News staff, if I have a little bit of time to give back, then, why not? What am I going to do? I'm here, and that's my job, and that's what I get paid to do. Just not having an ego, and obviously, working with a great group of guys too, that don't really have side when we're working and put our work hat on. I think that goes a long way. That we all respect each other, and that's what I try to teach the young guys on the team. Respect everybody around you, and you get respected in return.
Like, you're not a dad yet, but these kids, did they listen to you?
Sometimes. Ryder,
He does a great job leading by example.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was talking about the tent earlier, but it's in every way that Dylan helps out. A few weeks ago, I was around and I walked in the shop and he's talking on the ground. I remember this was a while back.
I like
talking on the shop and gets off the phone. I'm like, who are you talking to? He's like, a customer.
We're selling record program.
So, he sees us as a staff workers in the shop. So he answers the shop and talks to the customer and gets excited about the Red Rider. And I like that about him. He's willing to chip in where he can.
I actually just saw that commercial with Nylander at Tim Hortons. Maybe you can go down to the office and just answer the Larry in the room there.
I'm good with dirt bikes, but I might be sitting in the wrong part.
Billy, sorry, I'll let you go first. I'll let Billy go first. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for Dylan, obviously. Just trying to start a nice rivalry here, continue it. I interviewed Jess Pettis recently and asked him about the fact that you were injured last year. He won the championship. Does he come in with more motivation to kind of back it up this year? And he said, well, you know what? Previous years I've been hurt. So now for yourself, obviously missing last one, not getting the championship, are you coming in with any different motivation? Do you feel like that you really have something to prove this year even more?
I the same every year, you know, we go with, yeah, I don't lie to you, I show up every weekend, go win both motos, you know, we put a lot of money, invest a lot of time into this, and, you know, I think second place would be an upset for me, honestly. So yeah, same thing, I bet you said exactly the same thing, he shows up to win, and obviously, you know, that's part of competition, that's why, you know, we're driving each other forward, and the brands are driving each other forward, it's part of the game. No one likes to lose, and I think that's what's great about motorcycle racing, you know, we go on the track and let the best man win.
Jess, go ahead, Jess, I'll let you listen.
So obviously everybody's talking about the salary withdrawal, we heard from all team managers and stuff, but what do you think about your salary being shared publicly? And was there communication before it was shared? Did you give the ultimate yes?
There's a lot of talk about salary stuff.
Hey, it's out there.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's every other sport, you know, you know, what your guys are making, obviously our sport's maybe a little bit different, but that's part of their big practice. Yes, I mean, people have got to be okay with it. Obviously it's a personal thing, but in sports, we're athletes, it's part of the deal. And obviously, you know, I'm fortunate enough that Honda and all the great partners that we have on the team supported enough that I, you know, make a pretty good living racing my dirt bike. And obviously I'm happy. That's part of my job is to represent them and give back to, you know, my full potential to do the best I can for everybody that I represent.
I have two questions. The first, just regarding the new bike, brand new 2025 450. You got on it kind of in the fall. So you've had lots of testing time. Was the process of getting comfortable, was it hard with this new bike, or did it just kind of flow pretty naturally?
I think it's one of the easiest things that I did, man. The new bike's incredible. The new chassis, instantly, like, the way I was going with the other bike, they basically did with this bike. So, we started off square one at a really good spot, and if I'm being honest with you, we didn't change that much. The original chassis was really good, and the production side of it, I mean, you can attest, you've ridden it as well. The production side of the bike is really good, and I know there's a lot of guys around the world running pretty close to the production side of things, so I'm really excited about what this motorcycle can do, and yeah, I'm excited to showcase it. It's really shit based on, which makes all of our lives easy, from the mechanics to Derek to myself. It makes life a whole lot easier when we're not testing until, you know, dark. When we can get on it, easy for
One more. Back in 1990, Ross Pedersen went from #1 to #7 after a tough 1989 year. And I remember when he showed up at the first race, his #7 looked almost like a #1, where he cut the top was so short, and I said, that looks like a #1. Yeah, he's like, yeah, like, you just drove him nuts to put a 7 on it. I know the 9 looks great on your bike, but when you did see it for the first time, did it kind of ignite maybe a little more fire in you to get the #1 back?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I ran the #9, but like I said, it's part of the game. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of motors that did down south with no numbers on the bike. Just I didn't want to see it, you know, and that is what it is. And I want to get it back. I mean, that's the path that we're on. We're working our balls off to turn that #9 back into #1 next year and put the bike on the top of the box. And I think that's motivating for all of us on the team. Corey, my mechanic, to Jeff and Derek and Duke and everybody. Yeah, I mean, the goal is to put it on the one back on it. Obviously, we can't show up, but we can end the year.
Thank you.
Jess, go ahead.
We heard rumors that you were testing some HRC stuff down south with like some Jet Lawrence bikes and whatnot. Is there anything that has been incorporated on your boat that is gonna change anything this season?
That's really cool. This is really cool.
Yeah, I had a pretty cool opportunity to do some testing for Honda US, and yeah, I had lots of time to spend a bunch of time riding the motorcycle and trying to make it better for the boys, because obviously they were coming up, a little behind the 8 ball, so I took a little bit of the workload to try and get the bike as good as I could for them to get, you know, keep progressing into the season. And I mean, obviously, yeah, it's a cool opportunity. So thanks to Lars and all the Honda US guys, it was fun. Hopefully we can continue that partnership. We have that very good partnership with the HRC US guys, so just continue it was fun. And to bring stuff back, I learned a lot about
just that, I mean, I just that as well. It originally was supposed to be 3 weeks, and then I was gonna do the testing for HRC. It turned into 5, and it was actually a really great experience for him and the team. And something I told him early on was, let's use this as a tool for yourself as well, figure out what it is that you can bring back to go back to HRC and see how to do that, whether it's knowledge or building parts of that. And the one thing that stood out to me about this new bike was kind of testing with the long saying earlier about was he didn't have a very long list. There was maybe 4 items that he said, I want you guys to figure out how to do these 4 small changes to the bike. And I think there were 3. There was one that there just wasn't enough parts to do it. But they weren't major changes, and honestly, they were things that were just more so that Taylor fit the bike to him, and it wasn't really something that I would say the bike was bad and this had to be changed. So I thought that was really great, but HRC was really helpful as far as helping make those changes happen for us that we wanted to fit for.
And just to follow up, not to like talk too far into the future, but is test riding something you enjoy? Would that be something you could go in the future, like for Honda, becoming a test rider with Craig Ryder or something?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they've got a lot of good test riders right now. And I need to focus on my career racing and winning for now. But I've been learning different motorcycles and different frames and stuff like that. It's definitely cool. I think as all riders we've described, they, what we can change on the motorcycle, if that's what can help what they're going to bring into production in the future. I mean, yeah, it's cool. You put your own little signature on, something new. So obviously, we'd have to explore that avenue down the road. But yeah, for now, we're just focused on winning races and let the test riders give us the best product we can possibly get to go win these races. So we don't have to focus too much on it because they do a lot of testing when they go to the bike.
And I think you'll see Dylan do more sometime down the road because I was getting calls regularly from them explaining how happy they were with Dylan because
there was a lot of days
because of his work ethic. He was the guy that was willing to be there sun up to sundown, and there was a couple times where they felt like he's surely not going to want to get back on the bike for a couple of hours. He always did every time. So they were grateful for that, and I think that really helped with his preparation this season. He did a ton of riding this winter, and a lot of the riding was just really figuring out what it is that he wants in the motorcycle and how he can build it for himself.
Dylan, I think you and I both have a bit of a rocky relationship with Phil Nicoletti from incidents at Sandali. I think we should let's drag him into this a little bit too, because it's kind of interesting that he's coming back. Can you talk about your relationship with him from that, and what do you think he brings into this? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, unless there's something else you did.
Yeah, Phil and I are cool. We're kind of cuffed in the same cloth, I think. He's a hard worker. Grew up upstate New York. He's a great guy. I really like Phil. He puts on this image when he's in front of the camera and stuff. But deep down, he's a really good kind of friend of mine. I've gone and trained with him after the fact and stayed at his house, and we've gone cycling and stuff together. So I think it's cool, and I think he's a great addition to the series. And I'm like with Jack actually. Yeah, he did good eyeballs to the series, and obviously I didn't say I was going to kick his ass here weekend.
Nice.
All right, I believe that's it. Dylan, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Derek, we got lunch getting ready to rock here, and what's the next stage? Go ahead. Dylan's got more.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out to this media day. It's nice to see all the faces that, a lot of people support our program, and obviously, Derek and I can't thank everybody enough who puts in the time and effort behind the scenes. It's really cool to see all of us come together and stuff like that. And thanks for coming out and supporting the team, and hopefully we don't let you down.
4-year contract just got it again. Thank you.
Yeah, we have people travel from across Canada to the U.S. I really appreciate all of you coming. And what we're going to be doing next, if there's any last questions anyone has, feel free to ask those. Lunch is going to be served out of the food truck outside in a few minutes here. Once everybody's done eating, the guys are going to suit up. They're going to do some riding, so anybody that wants to head over the track, you can go over there and you get some footage. I know there's a few people that plan to do a couple one-on-one interviews with the riders and team members after that, so just start grabbing them as we need them, and we can do that. Is there any last question? Justin, I know there's one thing I want to address for you because it's a question you didn't ask today. And you already know what it is.
Yeah.
Just just really supports the WMX series here in Canada. She does a great job supporting it. She's been in media here, and I know she's been on the last couple years to bring WMX Ryder to the Honda team. So I know you know a little bit about it already, but we did look into it a little bit this off season, and there's 2 women racers specifically that we're looking at trying to do a deal with. And one thing I'll say, the WMX racers, they get their stuff done early because they have their deals done long before all these guys do. Organized. So we did think, you know, we were looking for a very specific race. There's people always wanted. We felt there was 2 that really fit that mold. Didn't work out for this year, but I would think in the future years, sometime very soon, see a WMX racer at GDR.
Looking forward.
Great. You got anything left, Ollie?
How much will she make? No, I got nothing. Again, thank you so much for everybody joining us. This is always sort of the forefront. GDR is obviously, they're carrying the flag. They're kind of putting it on the top of the leaderboard, whether it is the number 1 race or the number 1 of the pits, whether it's social media and stuff. You can kind of tell this is a team that everybody wants to be a part of. But this is something right here that showcases that everybody's interested in what's going on behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, what Dylan's doing, what the riders doing, the mechanics, all that kind of stuff. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. Like Derek said, lunch is served. Go on out, relax, chat, and whoever's going to do the one-on-ones. It's been awesome as well. Awesome, the boys were out here in a bit. And Derek, thanks for your hospitality. Thank you so much to Frank. Thank you, Ryder. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Larry, for coming up as well. Noof for Ziad. Thanks, Noof. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Play safe. And go ride red.